We call Creve Coeur School District number 76, Board of Education Special Meeting, April 14th, 2015 to order. Please join us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey.
Here.
Cam Griner.
Here.
Brenda Cagle. Here. Valerie Reagan.
Here.
Julie Troop.
Here.
Rebecca Kern here. Judy Strong.
Present. At this time on our agenda, we have public participation. Thank you for coming out. If you have anything, we'll take one at a time. Any comments to the board at this time? Mr. Giddens?
Hi.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, this is where Shane was going to announce me, I guess. Okay, Shane, you can announce me.
All right, trustee.
Thank you.
Village trustee, Mr. Terry Cagle, if you would.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we're going to have the cleanup week is, let me get my glasses on so I can see it. April 25th and Saturday, May 22nd, not 22nd, but 2nd. So anyway, that's not why I'm here, cleanup week, but the reason I'm here is that I want to ask the village, the council, you guys, school board, thank you, I was looking for it, the school board for some assistance with the village, and also the public also. What we'd like to see is everybody joining together and cleaning up the city. And what we will do, we will take, with the assistance of you, your schools, your students, and everybody, and just clean up the city, much like the Lions Club has done. In the past, we'll put the litter in the bags. Later, the trucks will come by and pick it up. We're going to call this Creve Coeur Vision 2020. I think we're stealing that a little bit from the school board, but, you know, hey, to me, that was a pretty cool idea. So what I would like to see is for the board to maybe ask the students, ask the teachers if they would accompany in this with a little bit of assistance, maybe the school clubs. I don't even, really don't even know what clubs you have. Science clubs, band clubs, basketball, anybody that would actually come out on a Saturday, we're going to look at a Saturday, and clean up the city, basically. And I will get back with you on a date, probably after May 2nd. That way, all the cleanup can be done, and then we'll come back after that day and work on that. You guys will still be in school, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
All right.
Work on what?
Cleaning up the city. Basically, we're going to go. Cleaning up.
This is different.
This is different than what we're doing.
Oh, okay.
This is actually what the city's actually doing. Working the fall cleanup or the spring cleanup. We have two of them. And that's what that is. And then
so you're talking streets and roads?
No,
streets.
Like that?
We're talking streets, not the highway, because that's the highway. You guys were doing that, and we have to be permitted to do that through the state. And I checked on that, and well, I don't want the kids actually on the highway. No, you got to be 10 years old to be on the highway, and I know you guys are older than 10, but I don't want to see that happen. So what we're going to do, we're just going to walk the city, walk the streets in the city, and just clean up all the debris so that we can take more pride, in where we live at. So that's what I'm here for today.
Is somebody going to organize these sections?
I'll be organizing it. What?
Supervise?
Yes. And that's where I'm looking for help from you guys. Because I think for every 10 kids, you have to have an adult or something like that. So we need more adults. I don't know how many kids we can get, but that's what I'm looking for is kids. Because, hey, if they're cleaning up the area, their parents will probably think, hey, my kid's out there doing it. I shouldn't. You know, it should be a snowball effect where if the kids are cleaning it up, if adults are cleaning it up, we'll take more pride in what we got here. And that's what I'm looking for is the ownership of our community and the pride that we got to show more pride. So that's where I'm at.
Including the gullies.
If we can get down in the gullies, yes.
And what about tires?
Tires, we can put them out there and maybe they'll pick them up. If you can get all the gullies and stuff clean. I know when we bought a house, me and Brenda bought a house down here, we took, what, 5 or 6 trucks full of garbage out of the gullies. It was interesting, but that's what we're looking for.
Okay.
You got a question,
So I was just gonna ask, so you want like the board and the trustees
if you can.
and everyone like to get together to
Yes.
help with the chaperoning?
Yes, it'd be great. I mean, that would show the community that you guys are behind everything, and to show us that we're behind it. Teachers, anybody, even if you don't live here, you know. You work here, why not?
You're talking about the Patriots Club and all that?
Patriots Club, I called them today and talked to them. They're no longer a club.
Oh, okay.
But Lions Club, you guys, I'm gonna go talk to you guys, what is it, Thursday?
You might want to talk to the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts.
Exactly.
That's a good idea.
And, you know, this makes me a little nervous, and you guys probably feel that, but I'm not used to this. I should be, but I'm not. But I do want to see the community actually a lot cleaner, you know, so when you drive through, you don't think, wow. And where this came from, when I was putting out my signs, and I did win, thank you guys. But when I was putting out my signs, I'm thinking, look at all this garbage, you know. And it's like, holy cow, you know, we got to do something. So anyway, that's all I got for you.
All right, Trustee Cagle.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Oh
Don't walk away.
gosh.
Can you email this document to
I
me?
will.
Okay, because then we can send that out, we can
Right.
send it home with students.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
What else?
And,
It does say tires on
Well, that's.
oh, I
for the
don't need
cleanup
that
day.
stuff, just
All
this
right.
front.
there. Oh,
yes.
All right.
Front. Just to allow, you know, to let,
When you clean out your garages and your basement
Yeah.
and stuff.
You know,
Throw it out on the-
honestly, these 2 weekends, you'll see more people in trucks picking up metal, good things, anything. It's like a free-for-all when you get in town on them couple days. And I think everybody here knows what I'm talking about. You know, that it's amazing. But a lot of stuff is thrown away that's good. And then I wanted to do this after,
So it would be after May 2nd.
yes, because then you have all the garbage that's usually left.
right, and the trash and refuse that's on the streets and,
Yes.
and neighborhoods now. When we talked about this earlier, we discussed student council, science
Right.
club, other student groups becoming involved as a matter of civic pride and bringing the students, you know, this is where you live, and,
Right.
and you need to take care of this as a community. So it's a good, we do recycling here in the district anyway, so it just kind of all fits together. But it obviously would be a volunteer
Yes.
activity.
Right.
And we would just ask for signups and those kind of things once we have a specific date
Right.
in May.
Mm-hmm.
We can't get
Too
too
late.
far
Right.
into
It'd
May.
be probably the weekend after the 2nd.
Okay,
That's what I'm shooting for.
okay. So the sooner we know that, the sooner we can start to put together
Right.
some plan to this. That it's not gonna be just a free-for-all, like you said, send your kid
Right.
to,
No,
out to the
it should be
streets.
chaperoned, it's gotta be chaperoned, everybody's gotta be,
Parents should be involved as well, like you
Exactly.
said.
Be great.
And we can have this as
it could be a fun day too, I
civic
mean.
service kind of day.
Yep.
Exactly.
I sprung this on the board, we had a meeting this morning, and so I sprung this on the board this morning. I tried to get somebody else to come today, but she decided she had a date.
Oh,
But she probably needs a date.
now you're being recorded.
No. Well, she'll agree with me. Since I'm being recorded.
Thank you, Trustee Cagle.
Thank you.
That's enough from you today.
Oh, it's plenty.
Thanks, Terry.
Does PACE have a meeting coming up that we can speak with them? Or when they're regularly scheduled meetings are?
Pace.
Mr. and Mrs. Cagle regularly attend the PACE meetings, so, yeah.
You're probably looking at May 9th then.
Okay.
Trustee Cagle.
I got you.
Okay, since this was brought
Y'all
up,
got that made, man?
Mr. Aldrich, since this
They
cleanup
just
was
tell me
brought
what
up,
to do, and
does
I
the
try to
school
do it.
have unneeded, unwanted things that they need to get rid of?
I wouldn't know. We have a garage full of broken furniture. I'm not sure if we need to get rid of it or if that's, I was told that had to be a board approved type of thing to be able to get rid of any kind of personal property of the school board. So we have not had the opportunity to go through that and to do that. So I just can't answer the question.
I don't believe the school has the same garbage service either that provides the pickup.
Oh, I think you're right.
So I'm not sure that
So
would,
we have to put it in the
but it was a
dumpster.
good thought.
That's right.
I bet the neighbor would let us put it on there, correct?
If it was broken anyway, you know. The way
Yeah.
that policy reads, it's no good. If it's broken.
Right.
It doesn't need board approval.
Oh, I was
Good idea.
I was kind of given the impression that I had to get approval for any kind of discarding of any kind of personal property of the board. So,
All right.
You want to try it again?
Hello, Randy Giddens. First of all, I got a question here. Item H1, you got a motion regarding administrators and employment contract. Who are the administrators that you're talking about? Mrs. Strong?
administrators of the school district.
Who specifically will you be
Normally
addressing?
don't speak from the table to answer questions.
You have to tell.
And I don't know, because we're not in executive session yet to be told who those are. They're administrators. Who would you consider as
It may be one, it may be all, it may be none, Mr. Gibbs.
So you're not willing to disclose anything? Okay.
Who are the
First
administrators?
of all, Mr. Aldrich, I have the floor,
Administrators.
sir. It is public comment.
You've asked a question.
I asked a question and nobody wants to answer it.
It would be
Another
Shane
thing,
Aldridge,
4 years ago,
Brad
ago,
Jokish,
3
building
of these
principal.
board members
Michael McCormick, building
had
principal.
opposed the old board handling contracts. We now, 4 years later, 3 of those board members, Mrs. Strong, Mrs. Kern, and Mrs. Troop, we want to talk about contracts now before we seat the new board. The election was a week ago. We got the unofficial results. A lame duck board is going to be seating or signing contracts telling the new board members, we don't care about your thoughts or your opinions. In just a few weeks, you're going to be getting your park results back and you're going to get your 5 essential results back. Me as an incoming board member, I would like to see those results before I enter in any contracts with anybody and be informed what is the best thing. I would like to see, even if it's a 1-year contract, be academic performance based. That is my individual. It is up to the rest of that new board
He's right.
to agree or disagree.
1-year contract.
So-
Does not have to happen.
Excuse me, I'm trying to address the board, sir. May I address the board?
Oh, he
Continue
wasn't,
on.
he was talking to me.
I was
It's my
talking,
fault.
that's right.
But what's changed? 4 years ago, you opposed it. You spent $20,000 to buy out somebody's contract. I don't know what you paid in legal fees to negotiate that contract with that superintendent that the old board hired. Are we going to do this again? Will the new board have to, would you please tear up your contract? If you don't want to tear up your contract, do we have to go through the legal process and waste money again? To me, when I was campaigning for this election, there's a group of children that honestly need summer school. I would rather spend the money for those children than wasting it trying to redo something that you didn't like 4 years ago. So why is 3 people even discussing it tonight? You put it on the agenda. I know that you're in favor of it. That has been your pattern for the past 2 years, Mrs. Strong. I have no doubt how you feel about this, and you don't want to disclose it. The fact that the board doesn't even know who they're voting on tonight or anything, haven't seen the contracts, that's mind-boggling. You keep saying you make informed decisions. Let's wait for those 5 essentials. Let's wait for those park results. Let the board make an informed decision. Where do they want to go from there? I'm asking that of this board. Let's avoid all the legal hassles that you created 4 years ago, but you accused the previous board. So do you want to repeat that procedure all over again and sit back and laugh at this community how much money is getting wasted? Are we going to get to move forward, or are we still going to be tied back?
Okay, any other comments? Mr.
My name is
Bachler?
Don Bachler. I was here last meeting and addressed you with Mr. Litchfield's problem that you have. Told you about the history of him being a superintendent back in the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s.
Let
And
me
how-
stop you for just a moment.
Yes.
I've talked to his daughter.
Yeah.
She is researching a photo.
Good.
And will get back with us as soon as she is able to locate one.
You talked to her?
I have
Good.
personally
Because
called.
that was what I was going to say, because people watch Creve Coeur Cares, and I got a few phone calls about my pursuit of having his
I
portrait.
called her and she
Yeah.
called me back.
Good.
So we have talked.
Because they were very pleased that I was pursuing it, especially after you spent the $200-some-thousand and, you know, it needed to be returned or replaced for improving the administration building, you know, and you're going to spend more money and everything like that. So I'm glad that you are going to replace it, you know, and that will be part of it. In fact, they even mentioned, got my notes here about, you know, it's a good idea, maybe have the superintendent's pictures in the law. I forget which board member presented that, but have all the superintendents that have been in this district, have those in the new administration building after you remodel them, okay? So that's a good example. I wasn't going to say any more, but since Mr. Gibbons brought it up, talking about administrators, I'm going to say I didn't know that you were going to be talking about contract stuff. I see a number of teachers here, you know. Being an administrator in this district a number of years and worked with a number of superintendents and working with the law firm that you worked with, Miller, Triggs and Hall. I can still remember the attorney saying, administrators, don't deal with your salaries until you negotiate the contract with the teacher. Because if you do, you're setting a precedent. Whatever you give administrators, whoever it may be, I remember one year we didn't get it. We got 0%, where the teachers got some as administrators. We got 0. But the rule was you give the teachers theirs and then the administrators. If you set the precedent of whoever the administration is, whether you go back to Mr. Deming, Mr. Ingalls, all those people, you know, Dean Payton, they said, don't negotiate administrators until you sell a teacher. So teachers, more power to you if they settle the contract tonight, because that tells you what you probably get.
Any other comments? Hearing none, we'll go on to action items. We'd like a motion, please, from the table.
I make the motion to approve the second reading and approval of policy 7.180, prevention of and response to bullying, intimidation, and harassment.
Second. Take Mrs. Reagan for a second. Communication from the table.
This is the one at the board table that was just presented, right? I mean, we had it before, but this is, yeah.
He gave you a
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make sure this is the same one.
And I think we've all heard so much on bullying, you know, it's been on TV, it's been in the news. If we could take just a few minutes, maybe Mr. Aldridge could read through some of this policy, if you wouldn't mind, so that we get across to the parents, we do have a policy in place, and we are going to enforce it. If you wouldn't mind.
We did change some of it.
You did.
Obviously,
Not all of
okay, good.
it. Yeah,
There's 5 pages.
I know, but the important parts.
Obviously, school districts do not condone any type of bullying, intimidation, and harassment. What has to be talked about is what does constitute bullying, intimidation, and harassment. And there is specific definition as to what it is, all right? It is bullying on the basis of an actual or perceived race, color, national origin, military status, unfavorable discharge from the military service, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender-related identity or expression, ancestry, age, religion, physical or mental disability, orders of protection status, status of being homeless, or actual or potential marital or parental status, including pregnancy, association with a person or group with one or more of the aforementioned actual or perceived characteristics, or any other distinguishing characteristics is prohibited in the following situations. And then it goes on and on and on. But what this is it is saying that school districts are to be cognizant of the things that are going on in their schools. And Creve Coeur and the staff here and the administration here does a good job with that. But the bullying part of it, the definition, is kind of changed. We would think when I was in school, and I was in elementary school, I wasn't small, but I was the fat kid that wore glasses, okay? So as you can imagine, I was called the fat kid, four-eyed fat kid, blah, 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 okay? That was my elementary school life, okay? Bullying today, I mean, it's gotten so bad that we have to legislatively define what bullying is. And bullying means any severe or pervasive physical or verbal act or conduct, including communications made in writing or electronically, that's one of the changes here, directed toward a student or a student that is or can be reasonably predicted to have the effect of one or more of the following: causing substantial detrimental effect on the student's physical and mental health, substantially interfering with the student or student's academic performance, substantially interfering with the student's ability to participate or benefit from the services or privileges provided by the school, or placing the student in a reasonable fear of harm of the student's person or property. So it's a standard now. It's not just me standing out on the playground being called Fatty Four Eyes. It is more than that. It has to be that sustained and substantial detrimental effect. Okay? So, a lot of times we as parents get upset when our children are maybe called names, or that one child is making a target of your child. But we have to remember that it is the nature, that's the nature of children. We can't legislate that out, but we have to be aware of how far it goes. And that's what this policy is doing. It is telling us that we have to be aware and look out for our kids when it gets to those points. So this policy has to be adopted tonight. Maybe some of you saw in the news that District 150 adopted theirs last night. And the reason for this is because it has to be now submitted to the State Board of Education on a specific website. I have to do this tomorrow so that they know that the Creve Coeur Board of Education has adopted this specific policy. So there is, and we have talked about in last school year, we had training on the specifics of abuse and of bullying. And it's something that we take very seriously. We investigate it when those, I don't want to say complaints, but when those incidences are brought to our attention. It is something that we do take seriously. So we will continue that, and we will make sure that what is in the policy is followed. All right? One of the things here is the cyberbullying that starts talking about electronic communications and the use of technology So parents need to be aware of that as well, that if that's going on, they need to have an understanding of what their students and their children are doing with their technology, all right? Because now, if it comes into the school and becomes a disruption at the school setting, the school now has the ability to discipline a child, even though that might have taken place outside the school setting. So it is being taken very seriously, and I just want to reassure the community that that is something that we do find that, or if we do find it, when we do find it, we do investigate, so.
Thank you, Mr. Aldridge. Further table discussion?
I do want to include, though, it says school personnel, and this policy goes on to list every means employed by, on contract with, or who volunteer in the school district, including without limitations, school and school district administrators, teachers, school guidance counselors, social workers, school counselors, nurses, cafeteria workers, custodians, bus drivers, playground supervisors, or school secretaries. So all those people need to be aware of the bullying and report it to the
Should
necessary
we add
people.
Board of Education on there?
I don't think so.
Well, we don't
We're-
get direct complaints, so.
Volunteers.
Well, we are volunteers, sure.
The school,
How about if
right?
we say if you're an adult in a school building and you see bullying or something going on where children are substantially interfering with another child, say something to a school official.
Right.
I mean, that's really all it is. It's common sense.
And this is like direct complaint, so I guess if we would get a complaint from a parent to say
Right.
something to Mr. Aldridge.
So a lot of work has went into developing this policy.
Yes.
I think it's a good one.
And we did take the recommendation from the Parent-Teacher Advisory Committee and not include that 800 number, correct? I mean, that was based on their finding.
Yeah,
That's-
that was it.
That is correct.
Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey,
Aye.
Pam Griner,
Aye.
Brenda Cagle, Valerie Reagan, Julie Troop,
Aye.
Rebecca Kern, aye. Judy Strong.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We need a motion, please, to enter into executive session.
Motion to enter into executive session for appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey,
Aye.
Pam Griner,
Aye.
Brenda Cagle, Valerie Reagan, Julie Troop,
Aye.
Rebecca Kern, aye. Judy Strong.
Thank you.
Motion carried.
Mr. Strong, I was reminded also of non-certified getting your raise the next 2 years too.
That was their option.
No, more option.
They asked for it.
Yeah, you're gonna get rid of our job.
All right, we need a motion, please, to resume.
Make the motion to resume regular session at 8:04.
Second.
Mrs. Bailey made the motion, Mrs. Griner seconded it. Any table communication? Hearing none, roll call.
Linda Bailey,
Aye.
Pam Griner,
Aye.
Brenda Cagle,
Aye.
Valerie Reagan, Julie Troop,
Aye.
Rebecca Kern, aye. Judy Strong.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Then we need a motion to accept resignations, please.
Make the motion to accept the resignation from Jerry Dalton with regrets.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Bailey, Mrs. Griner. Communication from the table. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Linda Bailey,
Aye.
Pam Griner,
Aye.
Brenda Cagle, Valerie Reagan, Julie Troop,
Aye.
Rebecca Kern, aye. Judy Strong.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Another motion, please, for the resignation.
Make the motion to accept the resignation from Greg Lisk with regrets.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Bailey, Mrs. Griner. Communication from the table, please. Hearing none, roll call.
Linda Bailey,
Aye.
Pam Griner, Brenda Cagle, Val Reagan, Julie Troop, Rebecca Kern, aye, Judy Strong.
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you. We need a motion to adjourn, please.
Make a motion to adjourn.
At, it's like 8:06. Thank you. That was Mrs. Reagan with the motion and Mrs. Bailey with the second. Communications from the board.
What about the policies?
We'll just roll them over.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey,
Aye.
Pam Griner,
Aye.
Brenda Cagle, Val Reagan, Julie Troop, Rebecca Kern, aye, Judy Strong.
Yes. Motion adjourned. Meeting adjourned, not motion.